It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Long Beach State head baseball coach, Eric Valenzuela. How are you doing today?
Hi, Brandon. Thanks for having me, man. Pumped to be here with you.
Thank you. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get involved in college baseball coaching?
Yeah. Well, I think just like probably any other coach in college baseball, they wanted to play professional baseball and play in the major leagues and let that be their job until they retired. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. And so, I originally went to school and got a degree in criminal justice, but that wasn't what I ended up doing. But my dad is a boxing coach, so coaching is definitely in the blood. And I just felt like that was something I was really passionate with, especially, during college. I would pick my coach's brains a lot. I love the recruiting aspect of it. I love the development part of it. And so it was just something that, as the years kind of went by in college and I figured that Major League Baseball probably wasn't going to be in the cards, then this was something that I felt like was my calling. And being able to see my dad as a coach, he wasn't a baseball coach, a boxing coach, but seeing what he, what he meant to so many people and how he, built character and built men, I thought that was awesome. And so that's kind of my coaching and how I got into it.
What was it like, obviously, coming from an athletic family, getting into coaching?
Yeah, my dad was a boxer and he played football and he wrestled. And then my sister, who's 8 years younger than me, she was a Division I softball player at the University of San Diego. There was actually no baseball in my family, really. It just kind of came with it. Boxing was always number one in our family household, and baseball just kind of fell into our laps. And lucky for me, that was that was my calling and my sister's as well with the softball piece. But obviously the competitiveness of being in a family that's an athletic family that played sports and competed, and obviously the boxing part of it with my dad being competitive and having that kind of mental, not only physical, but that mental training and mental edge did a lot for me. So
what was it like playing for Arizona State and going to the College World Series in '98?
I think it was a great experience for me. It was I got to play for Pat Murphy, who is a bench coach for the Milwaukee Brewers now, and we had some great teams. And unfortunately, I was there for 2 years and then transferred to Pepperdine. But my 2 years there, I learned so much, learned to I was around some really good baseball players that ended up playing in the major leagues, the '98 season was a tough year for me. The year that we went to Omaha and played in the championship game because I was injured that season. But just being part of that organization and that program, being around those players and those coaches, did a lot for me. Not only as a player but now as a coach. So I'm super thankful for that, and to be around that type of talent and those type of baseball players and coaches.
What was it like, obviously, leaving Arizona to go to Pepperdine?
Yeah, at the time, it was difficult, right? I mean, Arizona State was a dream school, out of high school for me. At the time, it was one of the, I was born and raised in Southern California, and there was two programs that you would go to if you were top of the top high school baseball players in Southern California, which was USC and Arizona State. So lucky enough to be part of that program. But there comes a time where you want to play, and you want to pitch, and you want to, in my case, I was around, I wasn't going to get too much time. And at the time you don't want to leave but you want to pitch and you want to play. And I was able to get an opportunity to transfer and go to Pepperdine, which was another great school, and we had great teams, and I got to pitch, a lot, and I got to be a part of a program that had two major league pitchers on the same staff as me. So with Noah Lowry and with Dan Herron. So that was pretty cool as well. And again, helped me in my development as a player, but more importantly now as a coach, and going through those ups and downs as a player really helped me and mold me, into the coach that I am now. And I'm able to pass along some stories and some experiences to my players now, for sure.
Of course, after your playing time, what was it like getting into college coaching and getting your first job as a recruitment coordinator?
Right away, right? So I stopped playing. My last year at Pepperdine was in 2001, and that was in the spring. And then right away, I was able to get an opportunity to go up in that fall of 2001 to St. Mary's College in Northern California. So it was right away that I jumped right into it. There wasn't really, I know there's a lot of coaches that have some stories about the time between them, playing and then starting to coach. They did a lot of things in between until they kind of found their calling. But for me, it was immediate, which was good because I was able to start really young and learn, and then, kind of build and be around different programs and coaches. And so that was a big deal for me. But I'm glad it started right away. I didn't play professional baseball. And so, that was a dream of mine to play professional baseball. And at the time, you're crushed, you're young, you're competitive, and you want to do that and chase your dream. But looking back now, that was the best thing that ever happened to me as far as, my career moving forward as a coach now, that I was able to start early, get into it at a young age of 22 years old, 23 years old. So just lucky that it all happened that way.
What were some of your accomplishments as the assistant coach at St. Mary's?
At St. Mary's, I had two terms there pretty much. I went in as a young coach, as a volunteer coach right out of college. I was there for 2 seasons. I worked for John Baptista, who was our head coach, and I got to be around some really good players. And Mark Tian was a major leaguer that was on that team at St. Mary's. And then, so I was there for 2 years, and then kind of full circled back from an assistant coach to the head coach there, and being there for 6 years. Really proud of what we were able to do there and what that program is still, moving forward with their head coach, Greg Moore there, which we're really excited about as well. But again, we were there for 6 years, and we had some really, really good players, good teams. We had a lot of firsts in the history. We had the first, conference champions, first regional appearance, a lot of firsts, which we're really proud of. So again, my time, I spent 6 years as a head coach there, but 8 years overall, which we're extremely proud of. And that'll always be, St. Mary's College always be dear to mine and my family's hearts, for sure, forever.
What was it like, obviously, getting the pitching coaching job at San Diego State?
Yeah, before that, I was at University of San Diego 6 years. So after my 2 years at St. Mary's as a young assistant coach, I got the pitching job at the University of San Diego, and I was there with head coach Rich Hill, who I know you interviewed from Hawaii. He was my boss for 6 seasons at the University of San Diego, and I learned so much from him. But I got a call from Tony Gwynn, Hall of Famer Tony Gwynn. He was the head coach at San Diego State, and asked me to come over and be his pitching coach and recruiting coordinator. And really hard to pass up that opportunity. So I went over there and just crosstown rival from University of San Diego to San Diego State. And that was great. I mean, it was a great experience for me. I learned a lot. And, I again was there for 4 seasons. And that jump started me, and I was able to get my first head coaching job from San Diego State to St. Mary's College.
What was it like, obviously, learning under Rich Hill during your time at San Diego?
Yeah, Rich Hill's my mentor. He's like a second father to me. I owe everything, to him when it comes to coaching at this level. I learned so much. When you have that much experience like he has, and so many winning programs, winning teams, I learned so much. I mean, I owe everything to him. He took a chance on me as a young coach, and there's a lot of things. Not only character. When you hear him talk, he talks a lot about character. He talks a lot about culture, which you learn a ton about when you're with him. But when you're talking about X's and O's of baseball and team practices and intensity and energy and all of that, and just how to talk to players, how to get to players in a good way, how to motivate them. Those are all things that I took from him and have taken it with me, on my journey here as a coach, for sure.
What was it like, obviously, getting your first time head coaching job?
It was exciting. It was that was the dream. I think when you get into coaching at any level, you have aspirations of running your own program, and that's what I had. I was always, as an assistant coach, I wanted to be the best assistant coach I could be. I always wanted to serve my head coach, making sure that I'm doing my job for him, understanding my role, never thinking ahead, but obviously, you want to be a head coach. You want to take over a program and make it your own. But as an assistant coach, you have to be there. You have to be, a soldier for your boss and for your program. So when I got my first opportunity at St. Mary's College, it was a dream. And we took over a program that many said we couldn't be successful. It didn't have resources. It was in a tough conference, academically, cost-wise, and just a lot of excuses of why we couldn't be successful. And we, took a risk, and it wasn't really a risk. It's a great place. It's an unbelievable school and program and history. And so, absolute dream come true. And living in beautiful Northern California for 6 years, I'll never forget that time.
What was it like the first time you got the job at Long Beach State as the head coach?
Well, I mean, it was very difficult for me to leave, the situation we had at St. Mary's College. We were in a really good place. We had an unbelievable athletic director. I had the gentleman, Mark Orr, who hired me, and then he left, and then Mike Matoso, who's the new AD there now, gave us as many resources as possible to be successful. We lived in a beautiful area. My kids were in great schools. My wife had a great job, all of that. So it was really difficult, to leave. But, when you look around at the great college baseball programs in the country, Long Beach State is up there, with its history, the tradition, of major leaguers, the College World Series appearances, the great coaches that have been here. It's a dream job for sure. It's closer to home for me. We're my family, my wife's family, we're about 30 minutes away from them. And the first time that my kids, could be close to their grandparents and to their families and cousins. And so this was a slam dunk job for me. I'm just honored and blessed to be here. This is our third season, and it almost feels like our first season, because year one for us, our season got cut short because of COVID. We had 15 games in, and then the season got canceled. And then last year we were one of very few teams to not have a non-conference season. We only had a conference season. We were the last team in the country to start practice in February. And so we've had a lot of challenges for 2 years, which we're not using as an excuse, but they have been really challenging times these last 2 seasons. And so this is, hopefully, knock on wood, this is this is the third season, and feels like our first season, but hopefully we can get through this without any hiccups, with COVID.
Of course, as you talked about playing only conference games, who are some of the teams that are in your conference?
Yeah, so we're in the Big West Conference. You got, you got powers, traditional powers like Cal State Fullerton. You have Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. You have Cal State Bakersfield. You have UC Irvine. You have UC Santa Barbara. You have UC Davis. Who am I missing? I say Northridge. Jeez. Those are the last couple of years. Last year, UC Irvine won the conference. Santa Barbara came in second, and then we came in third. And we had two. Both Santa Barbara and Irvine got into the regionals. It's one of the best baseball conferences in the country. It's definitely a Power 5 baseball program or baseball conference. You also have UC San Diego that's in there as well. So every weekend it's a grind. Every weekend there's no layups. There's no teams that you can feel like you can just walk over. Every team is going to give you their best. They're going to be really good. They're going to be very well coached. And so, to me, it's one of the best, conferences in the country and toughest for sure.
What's it like, obviously, getting to play those teams that are in your conference, like Cal Poly?
Yeah, like I said, it's challenging every weekend. You have, if you're looking at it now, Cal Poly has probably the best player in the country in Brooks Lee. You look at Cal State Fullerton and their history, tradition. They have a new coach, Jason Dietrich, who's going to be awesome. UC Irvine is on, is coming off a regional berth, and they won our conference, and they're getting better and better every year. UC Santa Barbara has been to Omaha. They've been, a top 25 team the last probably 4 or 5 years. And then you got programs like Cal State Northridge with Coach Serrano, who's turning, that program around. You got UC San Diego, who's new into the conference, who Coach Newman does an unbelievable job there. It's just, again, UC Davis has a new coach. Cal State Bakersfield was one of the toughest teams we played last year for sure. And so on and on, UC Riverside as well. It's every weekend is a grind, but that's what it's all about. That's why we do what we do, and that's why recruits come to this conference and to our program, is they want to play the best, and that's what we're giving them.
What's it like, obviously, playing those non-conference games like UCLA and Hawaii?
Hawaii is in our conference. That's the one I forgot, and I shouldn't have forgot because my mentor is the head coach there. But the non-conference schedule, if you look at our non-conference schedule, I would argue to say that we probably have at least the top 5 non-conference schedule in the country. This year we got, we're opening up on the road at Mississippi State, who won the national championship last year. We got Sac State at home, who averages, I think, 35 plus wins over the last 10 years. They're a regional team. North Dakota State comes in, and they're a regional team, I think, the last 4 or 5 years as well. And then we go to Lincoln, Nebraska, and play Nebraska, who I think is a preseason ranked top 25 team, who I believe won the Big Ten last year. And then our non-conference during our other non-conference weekend series is at Oregon State, who's ranked in the top 25 as well. So I would argue to say that we're that's a very, very difficult top 5 non-conference schedule in the country. And then you're talking about 2 times against UCLA during the week. We play USC, we play Fresno State. We're playing UConn, Connecticut as well on a Wednesday. We play Cal Baptist. So on and on. We play San Diego State. There's no easy games. When you're playing baseball out west, there's no easy games or easy series, that's for sure.
What are some of the game day routines and rituals and traditions that you have at Long Beach?
Me and myself, or our team?
As the team.
I don't know. I wouldn't say any kind of rituals or anything like that. I think we try to keep it as simple as possible. I think we really we talk about just hard work and talk about not trying to be so fancy and trying to do too much. So when you're talking about rituals, I think obviously how you come to the yard, how you prepare for your game, I would think players individually probably have some rituals that they do, or some things that they do to get themselves ready for games. But as far as us as coaches and us as a program, as far as rituals, I mean, we have things that we do on an everyday basis. We have things that we do, on game day that are routine, but nothing crazy, and nothing, that's pretty exciting, other than we hope that when we start playing that it's exciting and that we play good baseball. But yeah, sorry, man, I don't got the rituals and things like that. I mean, we keep it pretty simple, and when we're here for business, and there's no I'm glad that our players, there's no funny business. We're here to play.
What does the recruitment process look like for those prospective student athletes looking to play college baseball?
Very competitive. There's different levels. There's, if you're a baseball player in high school, you can find a home in college. Now, there's a lot to that. As far as your ability, academically, financially, all of those things come into play. If you're looking to play at our level, there's some absolutes. You got to be pretty darn good player. I mean, that's one. You got to be one of the best players in the country. You got to be able to have high character. You got to, have good reviews from your coaches, from opposing coaches, from your teammates, that you're a good guy, that you're a good team guy, that you're not selfish, that you're tough, you're competitive, academically as well. You got to be good in the classroom. What's good just depends on the type of school you're looking for, but and what each coach and program look for. But we want guys that value education. We want guys that aren't going to be a pain in the butt while they're here, when it comes to the academic side of things. But again, I think there's a home for everybody. I think there's so many baseball programs across the country that if you're looking and you're really passionate about playing, you can find it for sure. You can find that home for yourself. But we're looking for the best of the best, and that's just my honest deal. I want the best players in the country. I want players that are tough. This is a dirtbags, and this is a different animal. We're looking for a guy that wants to be part of this culture of toughness and high energy, and kind of that no excuses, look in the mirror mentality is what we're looking for. So.
Of course, during the official visit, what is the process like on the official visit when the recruits come to campus?
Yeah, so when they come on official visits, which is different than unofficial visits, but when they come on an official visit, I think the biggest part of when they get here, what we want to accomplish is we want them to see the ins and outs of our program. We want them to be around our players as much as possible, to see if they gel and to see if this is the right place and fit for them. We want our players to kind of dive into the recruits as well. It works both ways, and so we want the honest evaluation. We want them to get the honest us in the recruiting process. So there's no really fluff. There's no, I know schools try to impress recruits a lot, which is totally understandable, trying to get recruits. But in our case, our selling point is the culture and how they feel around our players, and if it's the right fit for them mentally and physically, if we're the right coaching staff for them, if it's the right school for them, if it's the right location for them, if it's the right academics, for them. And so we'll get opinions from both sides. After they leave their official visit, we talk to them about if this is the right fit. Do you feel comfortable? And then we'll talk to our players about, hey, is this guy the right fit for our program? Can he hang? Is he tough enough? And so it kind of works both ways.
Of course, as head coach, what is it like obviously seeing those prospective student athletes get to put on that Long Beach jersey on the official visit and see if they feel at home in the next 4 to 5 years?
Well, recruiting's a bloodline, right? I mean, it really is. When you talk about the two important details, in our culture, which is recruit and develop at a high level, to get the best players here, you're going to have challenges, right? You're going to be recruiting against the best schools on the West Coast or in the country. And so you really want to give them as much information about the program. You want them around your players. You want to see, if again, going back to what we talked about last, you want to see if this is the right fit for them, and you want to be honest. I think that's the biggest part of this thing is we're not for everybody. We're just not. I mean, this is, we have guys every year that come in and they think they're ready and they're not, and this is a program that's really going to challenge you. And it's really going to get you to the edge of thinking if this is for me or not. And for some guys, they're not ready and they want to go elsewhere, and that's okay. Again, this isn't for everybody, and this is not to scare anybody. It's just we do things a little bit differently, and it's not military yelling, screaming. It's just very demanding, and we expect a lot, not only from the players but us coaches as well. And so we're in this thing together with them, and that's just us. That's just us. And I think we get the right guy for the most part that want what we offer and want to be challenged at a super high level mentally and physically. And that's what's exciting.
What are some of the future plans for Long Beach baseball?
To win a national championship, Brandon. That's the future plans, man. That's what we're all set out to do. We have big goals and we have big expectations, and I'm not afraid to talk about that. I mean, this is when you play at a program like Long Beach State, when you have the history and tradition and the great players, that's the expectation of this community and of the history of this place is to get to Omaha and to win a national championship. And when Andy Fee hired me 3 years ago, that's why he hired me, is to get this place on the rails and get it to Omaha, and so that's what we're here to do. And we're not scared to talk about that. Of course, that takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of good baseball. It takes a lot of good players, and it takes a lot, of good practices, and it takes a lot of will, and it takes a lot of everything. And everybody has to be on the same page with it, but we're not going to shy away from that, which is why, we schedule the way we do. And that's why we're going to Mississippi State, and we're going to Nebraska, and we're going to Oregon State. We're doing all those things to challenge ourselves to get to Omaha. But that's why we're here, and that's what our goals are for sure.
Of course, as head coach, what's it like obviously seeing your players leave the program and make it obviously to the MLB?
That's exciting, but I think it's exciting, no matter what they do. I mean, what we're trying to do as coaches, remember, 95% of my players, I mean, I hope every one of them get a chance to play in the big leagues and make a living that way. But, the reality of this thing is 95% of our guys, are gonna do something other than play professional baseball. And so it's exciting to see guys, that I've coached or that we've coached and they've gone on to make a living in Major League Baseball. But as important and as exciting is it for me to see guys that I've coached that are getting married, and guys that have kids now, and guys that have great jobs, and they're buying their first house, and they're moving up in the world, in their profession. I mean, those things are as exciting. But yeah, when they're here, I mean, this is why at Long Beach State, this is what you do. You want to come here to play Major League Baseball. This is kind of that stepping stone to get to minor league baseball and beyond that. And so we understand that, and that's what we want. When we recruit players, their number one goal has to be that they want to play in the big leagues. I mean, that's what it is. And yes, they can fall back on that awesome degree. They can be in the business world and they can do whatever they want to do, but when they're here, we want them to want to make it to the big leagues and want that to be their ultimate goal for sure.
What advice would you give those high school athletes looking to play college baseball?
Well, it goes back to the recruitment and what we're looking for. I think there's a home for anybody that plays. They could play at this level. You got to work hard, obviously, and you got to be a good player. I mean, that's what it comes down to. If we want the truth of this thing, you have to be a good player. You have to have tools. You have to, at times you got to put up some numbers. You got to put a result. And again, baseball is a great game because you don't have to be, the biggest guy in the world. You can do it at any size. But that determination and how you work and are you a great teammate? How are you academically? Is just a real passion for you. But, to be honest with you, Brandon, you got to be a good player. If you want to play at the Division I level, you got to be, in that 1% range of high school baseball players. I mean, that's just that. But there's also Division II, Division III, NAIA, there's JC, so there's a lot of different levels that the players can find a home. I mean, they really can if they want it bad enough. They'll do the research. They'll get to camps. They'll send emails. They'll make phone calls. They'll continue to work every single day to get better if they're that passionate in it. And so I have no doubt that if you are that passionate and you want it, you'll find a home.
What advice would you give those future college baseball players looking to make it into the MLB?
Same thing. It's a grind. It isn't easy. The every step you take moving up from high school to college, from college to minor league baseball, and then there's another jump from minor league baseball to the major leagues, and then there's another jump from making it to the major leagues to staying in the major leagues. I mean, so there's so many different factors that can come into that. But guys that are in our program that are have dreams and aspirations of playing at the next level of professional baseball, we're trying to springboard them as well. We're trying to help them and give them a blueprint to that. So it's a work ethic. It's what we do at practice. It's their throwing programs. It's their lifting. It's their conditioning. It's everything. It's putting them through some difficult times when it comes to challenging them physically and mentally, to get them prepared, and not only prepared just for minor league baseball or major league baseball, but also prepared for the real world and to be great husbands and to be great fathers and to be great workers and teammates with whatever they're doing. And that's, again, that's our job. But we really feel like, what we put them through and what they go through in our program, that they're prepared for anything. Whether it's professional baseball or just living in the real world.
What advice would you give those future college coaches looking to get started in coaching in college baseball?
That's a great question. I'd say be patient. I think it's very difficult. People want to skyrocket and they want to move up fast, but college baseball is very difficult to get into when it's coaching, especially nowadays. You have so many great coaches out there and so many guys that are passionate about this. It's just be patient. It's be where you are. I think that's going back to like one of the first questions we talked about, being an assistant coach and being a soldier for your head coach, and being a soldier for your players that you're coaching as assistant coach. Know your role, and don't try to, overstep your boundaries. I think that's important. And if you do things the right way and you work hard, that's just how I live. That's it's outworking your opponent. That's kind of it. Everybody works hard. They think they work hard. They say they work hard, but who truly is? And that's kind of how, that's kind of how I live. And when you have a family, it makes it even more difficult, but this college baseball thing, it's, you're not in it for the money. You're in it for the passion. If you have it, you got to be willing to get up early and be on the road, and you got to be able to come in late. You got to have, a family that is able to work with that. And you got to be super passionate, and you got to love the development of young men. And you got to be super competitive. And but again, I would say patience. If you do the job the right way, you work hard, you're a soldier, for your boss. Good things are going to happen to you.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you on social media, along with the Long Beach State baseball program at?
Ooh, let me see. Well, we're Long Beach State Dirtbags. You can find us, on Instagram and Twitter, and our SID, Colin Robinson, does an unbelievable job with all the social media stuff. And I think that's important, when you're talking about recruiting, when you're also talking about the fan base that we have and the alumni and the support that we get. So he does an unbelievable job of that. So you can find us there.
Thank you again, Coach Eric, for your interview, and best of luck in your future with the Long Beach State baseball program.
Brandon, thanks for having me, bud.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.